Good day, folks. This is part two of Ishmael is not Arab, in that Egypt was not with Arabs nor Jews, and Israel had no Jews or Arabs. This is been implanted in there by sinners, not even by the sinners, by the Greeks and the Romans. The first Jews are Hellenists, not Israelites or Ishmaelites. They have nothing to do with our culture. Now, back into history, so we're gonna have the validity that. So see, this is what we talk about the conscious card community, talking about the Ankh in Egypt, and they want to hate Israel, and they don't want nothing to do with Ishmael, and they don't know nothing about what they're talking about. They're programmed by the Jews and the Arab that pushed them out of their blessing, and they've been pushed out the family, and people from lack of research. And understand, 100 years ago we didn't have smartphones, so we want to bring it back to the fold. Because what was beautifully broken, we're going to beautifully put it back together out of love. So these videos is not about hating and wanting to hurt or disrespect our elders who was before us, who had access to these books. But we must put them on blast that you traded gold instead of alms, and you became a sinner, and you practiced a life of sinner, and you taught the life of how to be a sinner. So now, let's go to the top. The king in the book of Jasher. That's why I put that in there. So now, you look at the top. Let's go from the top to the bottom. Book of Jasher, biblical references installed. You go to Wikipedia, find it, King James. You can go to Got Questions about the book of Jasher. For anybody who does not believe that these people are real. Let me put my plug back in. Because I know like you conscious community folks, y'all always say, well, them guys is not real, there's no archaeological facts and all that, what there is. And I already showed you the index in them other books I had showed y'all. So in my previous videos, in the book of death, the culture of death, ISIS, and sinners. So I got y'all the index. I sent y'all all the indexes, as you're going to look up these names and find out that there's archaeological evidence. There is evidence that everybody in the Bible existed. So, let's get to this part. Now, we get the Chronicles, Rehoboam, the Chronicles of the Kings of Judah, the real book of Jasher, Christian Classics, Aetherial Library, real. I mean, these are scholars have been doing this for many, many years, so I doubt if they would want to say like they don't know what they're doing. You get the PDF for free for you researchers. Book of Jasher, chapter 16. Charlemar, the king of Elam, sent all the neighboring kings to Nimrod, the king of Shinar. They didn't say anything about Arabs. The Chaldeans, Arcadians, Shinarians. Where did Arab come from? Where did Jew come from? Job 79, the king saw the order in the book of the records that related to the kings of Egypt, which is Mizraim or whatever, Mitzrayim. Hyrcanus, king of Cush, went forth with all the children of Cush and people enormous as the sand. So y'all don't even talk about this king right here, King Hyrcanus. As a matter of fact, we write that name down, because that's the first time I ever heard of him myself. So I'm not going to sit here on purpose and say, yeah, I knew about him. But we're going to get into the kings of Cush, too, because we haven't gotten to the lineage of Cush yet. We always stick in Mizpah, Mizraim, but we don't ever go into the kings of Cush or the kings of Phut, or Phut, Phut. So we got Kianus of Cush. See, y'all call yourself Cushites and Nubians and all that, But y'all haven't said anything about these kings. Why come the people don't know? And Side Netter and all those folks. And I went through y'all studies and I went through y'all pages and stuff like that. And y'all don't have this information. So sit back. Let's combine information. Let's educate our people so we can stop being ignorant. So now, let's go back to more. The book of ancient, book of 8, reference to Joshua. So those who don't know, it is in the Bible. It is in the Apocrypha, King James, and let me get that Apocrypha, King James, to confirm my book. Well, not my book, but my reference. YouVersion, Bible, King James Version. Let's show you. See? King James Version with the Apocrypha, America Edition, and I got all different types of versions. So whatever you think your Bible say, we got access. All right, we all in there. Whatever Bible you want to use, whatever case you want to get into. We even get Young's literal translation of the Holy Bible, the World Messianic, World Bible English. Oops. So we got those books. So let's get back to the teaching. Now, so now you see that I have that as well. Boom, and it confirms that. So we don't want to have any discrepancies about where Brother Hosea gets information. Thus, even though I made a misspell, I've been doing it for a minute. Back in still been doing it in 2013. So now, 14. So we on our job. So now we get the validity of Book of Jasher. So now let's get into this. Let's get into this story now. Now, Book of Jasher. Now Nimrod and his people were smitten before the people of Chaldemar. And they fell from Nimrod's men about 600,000 at Mardon, the king's son. Y'all knew about him? Mardon, his son? No, y'all didn't. I would have mentioned it. And Nimrod fled and returned in shame and disgrace to his land. He was under subjection to Chaldemar for a long time. And Chaldemar returned to his land and set princes of his host to the kings that dwelt around him in Arach, the king of Elashur. And I need to write him down too. Shoot. Man, see, I'm back. I'm back. See, we studying together. This ain't about what I know, what I don't know, what you know, what you don't know. But we need to get this out. So we got Arich, A-R-I-O-C-H, king of Elashur, of E-L-A-S-A-R. Now, here's one of the biggest one, and the title king of Goyim. Title king of Goyim. Now, my question to you, and we have seen now, this is what I tell you when the Bible said that these Jews is fake and these Arabs are fake. Goyim. Isn't that a derogatory term in the Jewish language? Let me get this in here. Goyim. Let me get that. Better yet. Boom. We got here. Right on screen. Yes. Wrong color. We got it dark color. You'll see it. It's fresh. Save. Boom. So now we get the proof that the Goyim, the Jews, been reading our history and our culture, and they've been using our words against us to make it seem like it's bad. So when they say we're going to treat these people like Goyim that they are, now we're going to find out the title, Tito King of Goyim. Where is that at? Okay, let's get back into this. All right, now, and it was in the 15th year of Abraham's dwelling in the land of Canaan, not Israel. So we know that Canaan was a place of, let's get that photo. Find the photo real quick. This photo. What's that photo? Where's the photo? Let me see if I have it first. Cause I know I do have it, but I don't. Might have it on tap. I got so many information. I don't know where everything's at anymore. My head is bogged down with a bunch of stuff. All right, let's see. Nope, it's not in that one. Let's go to my Piscas. See what's up with that. I got 6,200. Jeez. I might not be able to find it in this. By the time I find it in this, it's too late. Boy, doubt it. It ain't gonna be that far. Boom, we're gonna flip through it. We're gonna find it. Somewhere close. It's getting close. It's getting close. Where's the map at? Where is the map? Praise y'all. So Mizraim or Mitzrayim, we know it's Egypt, Cush, Nubia, Put. So we got that. Chaldea, Persian, Asian, Arabia is down there. So how do you get Ismael, whose father's Chaldean, Akkadian, to an Arab? How'd that happen? Somebody has to explain that. And so even with this map here, you still have to explain that. It's in green, the fact right there, it's still the Fertile Crescent where you get Arabia from. Somebody has put Arab or named it Arabia. I'm trying to find where the brothers, where they got the names of the brothers of the family tree. Okay. It should have been there. I should have been in the same, amongst the same. Oh, there we go. Praise y'all. Now, you got Ham, Mizraim, which is Egypt. But you have Canaan, which is over here. Heth, Sidon. Show me Arab. Let's go from my left to your right. We got Ham, that's in Genesis. Ham, Mizraim. Where you get Arab from? Now, Mizraim we know is Egypt. Hajar is Egyptian. We're going to prove that Rekehu is Chaldean or Akkadian. There's no Arab. Let's go find it again. Where do you get Arab from? I don't see it. I don't even see where you get Jew from. Let's look over. I see Sidonites, Ara, Jebusites, Amorites, Girgashites, Hivites, Evites, Zemarites, Amorites. Where do Arabs come from? Who put that in your head? The enemies of Yah Allah. There is no Arabs. Where? Tell me. And y'all sit here and y'all let these people do this to you. You don't do no research. You don't take no time. You just take it up the booty and then get mad when you're being mistreated. And you want somebody to feel bad for you. So it was Nimrod, Babel, Nineveh, no Arabs. None. Mizraim is Egypt. We showed you that already. None. Once again, Mizraim, Egypt, where you get Arabs from. They have to be from somewhere else. They have to be children of somebody else. Because the history of Israel and Ishmael has nothing to do with down here in South Africa or down here what they call Saudi Arabia. It has nothing to do with it. It has to be a modern term that somebody decided to pick up a whole bunch of different gods and defile and what they call that deprive one of his culture. I got a book where you have a study what's called cultural deprivation. I got that book, and they teach you. It was made in 1970, where these schools went to different cultures. They sent their students in different cultures, like missionaries, to take up information of people's culture, befriend them, get cool with them, take it back, and then come back and abuse their culture. So we see right here that Mizraim is Egypt, and Egypt is not a female. Egypt was originally a man, and somebody transformed Mizraim from a man to a female. And that's that female worship where y'all say a female is God, and this and that. Y'all did that, the demons did that, and that's the life of a sinner. Because you, what's the meaning? What's the meaning of a sinner? Let's go to the dictionary. This is what you did. You did this. You see, sinner, Akkadian moon god. It didn't say Arab moon god, it said Akkadian. So why would Ismael say Allah and not just say sin and worship sin? See what I'm saying? So let's get back to this history. But hold on. Let's see what the hyperden was again. Commercial. Rightfully so. Boom. Semitic deity, spiritual being. Okay, let's get to that verb of sin. Verb. Transgress, trespass, hypernym. This is what you did. You offended Mizraim by calling Mizraim Egypt, a female. You violated, you went against, you breached, you broke away, and you disrespected Ham, Cush, Foot. You're disrespectful. You are a sinner when you say Egypt was a female. So you might want to stop doing that if you're saying you're from Egypt, because that's not a female. It was originally a male, and somebody disrespected, transgressed, offended, and made a major infraction, and they violated, and they went against the truth. And for that, they are sinners. And if you don't research and change that lie to the truth, you are a sinner, what makes it an enemy to your own soul, according to Raphael when he talked to Tobias. Let's get back to the situation now. All right, now, back to the book of Jasher. Now, who was the first Pharaoh in Mitzrayim? So, here we go. Now, therefore, we walk before me in perfect. Keep my commandments, for to thee, the night sea, I will give the land for an inheritance from the river Mitzrayim, Egypt, y'all call Egypt, unto the great river Euphrates. He's talking about Abram. Whew. Us Israelites and Ishmaelites were the original, because we inherited that. The original ones gave it up, so we inherited what they threw away, like Esau gave up his birthright. They gave up their birthright. And so the story of Jacob is really about this right here. And thou shalt come to thy father's peace in good age, and the fourth generation shall inherit it forever. And Abraham built an altar, and he called upon the name of Yah, and appeared to him, and he brought up sacrifice upon the altar to Yah. And at the time Abraham returned and went to Haran to see his father and mother and his father's house and hold, and Abraham and his wife and all belonging to him returned to Haran. And Abraham dwelt in Haran for 5 years. Now, back up. And many of the people of Haran, about 72 men followed Abraham, and Abraham taught them the instructions of Yah and his ways, and he taught them to know Yah, Allah. So why would these men not call on sin or say that Allah is the moon god and have Ismael do it? And say he's the father of Arabs, and they make Abraham and his seed and his friends and all our family look like we idol worshippers. We don't do that. That's why I say Shalom, peace, Ishmael, and Israel. We are brothers, and we need to get back to what we need to get back to and follow the ways of our ancestors and not let these Jews and Arabs infect the dignity and the honor of our Creator, Yah Allah, and our father, Abram. Now, let's get down to business. So now we got the history. And Abraham came to the land of Canaan according to the word of Yah, and to Abraham, and he pitched his tent, and he dwelt in the plains of Mamre, and with him was Lot, his brother's son, and all belonging to him. And Lot is the father of Moab, which is the Moabites. That's why we say peace, Mo, peace, more. Now, stop the fuckery. Let's shorten this up. Next page. Now, we're going to get to the Garikaon. I hope I got enough time. This might have to be a third part. This is Book of Jasher, chapter 14, verse 1. And we're going to, we have to do that. Now, who was alive during this? See, they don't tell you in your Egyptian Scientology books. Book of Jasher, page 39, chapter 14. Research it, download it. Chapter 14. Let me make sure I got enough time to get into this. Damn, time is flying. All right, this is gonna have to be a part 3, so I can make sure y'all can get this. All right. I might be able to do this in 8 minutes, as far as getting to this point, cause this is heavy reading and teaching. In those days, there was in the land of Shinar a wise man who had understanding and all wisdom and of beautiful appearance, but he was poor and indigent. Sounds familiar. I feel like that's me. Poor as hell and indigent. But his name was Rekaon, and he was hard set to support himself. Praise Yah. And he resolved to go to Egypt, or Mitzrayim, to Osiris, the son of Anom, the king of Egypt. There is no Pharaoh, it's the king of Egypt. You notice there was no pharaohs then. So when y'all talking about the Pharaoh this and the Pharaoh that, you're really acknowledging that you are Akkadian by blood. You're acknowledging the Akkadian. You're acknowledging the way he did this. Now check this out. This story is hot, but it's crazy too. He resolved to go to Egypt, to Osiris, to the son of Anom, the king of Egypt. A-N-O-M, of Egypt. Or in this case, Mitzrayim. Because they have to change it to keep you confused. So when you see Egypt, say Mitzrayim. Anytime you hear Egypt, say Mitzrayim. That is the truth. To show the king his wisdom, for perhaps he might find grace in his sight to raise him up and give him maintenance. And Rekaon did so. And Rekaon came to Egypt. He asked the inhabitants of Egypt concerning the king, and the inhabitants of Egypt told him the custom of the king of Egypt, for it was then the custom of the king of Egypt. I keep saying Egypt. Anyway, I'll just go ahead and read it. That he went from his royal palace and was seen abroad only one day in the year. So Osiris didn't even go see the people. He wasn't even part of the people. He comes see you once a year. That's it. Just like the presidents do today. They come once a year or every 4 years now, come to the people, get their votes, and go on back into their thing. And in the day the king went forth, he passed judgment in the land. Everyone having a suit came before the king that day to obtain his request. Suit, meaning they had some complaints or whatever. And so when Rekaon heard of the custom in Egypt that he could not come into the presence of the king, he grieved greatly and was very sorrowful. That's why I wish I could go holler at some of these kings, but you know, what the hell. And in the evening, Raconia went out and found a house in ruins, and formerly a bakehouse in Egypt. He beheld the night and bitterness of soul, and pitched with hunger, and slept was removed from his eyes. Whew, this sounds familiar as hell. It feels familiar. And Racaon considered within himself what he should do in the town until the king made his appearance, and how he might maintain himself there. And he rose in the morning and walked about and met in the way of those who sold vegetables and various sorts of seed, which they supplied the inhabitants. It wasn't pork. It wasn't. I got 5 minutes. I can get this in here. So it says, in Egypt or Mizraim, they had vegetables and various sorts of seeds which they supplied the inhabitants. They didn't supply us with pork. They didn't supply us with cow. They supply us with lobster, clam, frog legs. We didn't eat that stuff. That wasn't part of our nature. That's not part of your nature now. Change your diet. And this is before the Bible was put together. And Racoon wished to do some same in order to get a maintenance in the city, but he was unacquainted with the custom of the people, and he was blind man among them. So that means he was not a Cushite. He was not of the seed of Abraham. Seed of Ham. He was from the seed of Shem. That's where we get the word Semhetic, or what's that? Shemhetic? Hamitic? Shemitic? Oh, I forgot they crushed them together. Semiometic, something like that. And he obtained the vegetables to sell them for his self-support, and rebelled about him and ridiculed him, took his vegetables from him, and left him nothing. And he rose from there in the bitterness of soul, and went sighing to the bakehouse in which he had remained all the night before, and he slept there the second night. And on that night again, he reasoned with himself how he could save himself from starvation. And he devised a scheme to act. And he rose up in the morning and acted ingeniously, and went and hired 30 strong men of the rebel, carrying their war instruments in their hands. And he led them to the top of the Egyptian sepulchre, and he placed them there. And he commanded them, saying, "This says the king, strengthen yourselves and be valiant men, and let no man be buried here until 200 pieces of silver be given, and they may be buried." Now check out that hustle. Check out that hustle. Check out what he did. Check out the hustle that he did. If that's like gangster, you talk about. This is why you have to pay to bury your dead. This is why you have the god of the underworld. This is why you have Anubis being attributed as giving life and all this stuff. But remember, Osiris is already living along with Racaon. So he's already worshipped Anubis and all this. But Racaon, you didn't have to pay to bury your dead. Your people died. Hey, you put them in the dirt. That's it. So we're going to go to part 2. We're going to get more in depth in this, right? So we can show you that Ismael is not Arab. Allah is not a moon god. And that Pharaoh was not a Hamite, nor Egyptian, or Mizraim. Part 3 coming up.